What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here, PackersNews.com. I'm here with Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette, looking at the Packers roster as they kick off OTAs and minicamp. Ryan, where do you see the most competition? Obviously, a lot of young guys coming in, a lot of veterans held over. Where do you see them clashing and the most competition taking place?
Yeah, I think there's a few spots, and really not surprising since this is year one with a new general manager. I think any place, not just Green Bay, you have a first year with a new GM, there's going to be competition, and Brian Gutekunst from the very onset stress competition. I think the biggest question on the Packers roster is who's going to be right tackle, because I don't know the answer to that right now. By this point, it's clear that they're hoping Brian Blaga can give them something this fall, but at the earliest, that's probably not going to be until midway through the season. So, who the right tackle is going to be really interesting to watch. There's going to be real competition between Deshaun Kaiser and Brett Hundley to be backup quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers. I think Brian Gutekunst made sure of that when he traded for Kaiser. The past couple of years, Brett Hundley was gifted that job, and that's not going to happen this offseason. I think receiver, there's a hole at number two. I think Geronimo Allison's probably the early front runner right now, but who that ultimately is and how the rookie receivers factor in, that'll be interesting to watch. You go to the defensive side, same as last year with behind Clay Matthews and Nick Perry. They need a number three, a number four, a number five outside linebacker. Reggie Gilbert and Vince Beagle, they're going to be in the thick for that. And then obviously the corners, with the young corners factoring into the rotation and how they compete with the veterans and Tramon Williams and Devon House will be something to keep an eye on as well. So a lot of areas of intrigue. There's been some off seasons, Aaron, when I've looked at this, with Ted Thompson, almost no turnover at all with the offseason roster, wondering, okay, what's new? Well, there's plenty of new this year.
Stepping back and looking at the roster overall, is there anything that jumps out at you? Anything different? Say, you noticed a new general manager. You noted that. What about this roster strikes you as unusual or different?
Yeah, every year I kind of going into OTAs, I try to look for just the roster quirk. And I don't know if it's a revelation so much as just a quirk, but this is a really tall roster. And if this was basketball, all right, where height and length really mean something, it would be a formidable lineup. The Packers lead the NFL with players that are listed 6'3" or more on their roster. And they in fact, they have an NFL high 21 players listed exactly 6'3" on their roster. No other team has that kind of height. Now, what's also interesting about that is even though they have a lot of players that are at least 6'3", they're in the league's bottom third when it comes to players that are 6'5" or higher, and they're right in the middle of the pack when you look at 6'4" and higher. So just a quirk, but this has not been the tallest of rosters in recent years. Mike McCarthy said that he wanted to get bigger and really emphasized height when you look at the draft class, a very tall draft class. It is reflected not just in the draft class, but their tallest player, Jimmy Graham, 6'7". Their tallest quarterback was brought in by a trade, Deshaun Kaiser. So they really did emphasize getting bigger, getting taller even this offseason. It's reflected on the roster.
There you go. We'll get to see some of that height in action tomorrow on Tuesday when practice is open to the media and the public. All the latest from Green Bay. For Ryan, I'm Aaron. Keep it at PackersNews.com.